I have been using the words aliveness and intensity very frequently recently. The word intensity I have been using since very long, for many years. For example, when I was lecturing on the Narada Bhakti Sutra, intensity was one of the main things that I was speaking about. Why I am using the word aliveness? One reason is that the word awareness has acquired kind of a tamasic shade, as I have been talking about in the previous talks. Like the word peace, awareness also has gotten associated with some kind of placidity, some kind of dullness, not dullness in the literal sense, but some kind of tamasic shade has gotten into it. It's not the problem with the word, it's the problem with the world, it's the problem with the people. It happens with every language. For example, the most important word, Atma, in Sanskrit, in the spiritual systems, it means something very different from how people are using nowadays. Atma, and because of the movies and whatever. So there are many words like that in all languages which have, because we are lousy, we make the words lousy. It's not the problem with the words. Because people are lousy, the words slowly, the profound words become lousy. Therefore, if we directly straight away use the word awareness, many of the listeners, not everybody, but many of the listeners, the immediate imagery they get has some tamasic shade to it, some kind of placidity, some kind of lack of life, maybe. You have yourself, some of you have commented and pointed this out yourself, that now I am understanding what sattva means, or now I am understanding what spirituality means. It is precisely because of this, because the common words like awareness have slowly gotten a tamasic shade. So when somebody is suddenly telling you, no, it's not that, it is aliveness, suddenly you see, yeah, it is, so it cannot be dullness. So even without our knowledge, unconsciously, profound words have gotten corrupted in some way or the other and gotten associated to distorted meanings. So that is one reason why I use the word aliveness, because the moment you hear the word aliveness, you cannot be tamasic. Maybe it may give you an imagery of rajas, but it is better than having an imagery of tamas. So if it is if it is giving you a rajasic image, you can use both the words together, awareness and aliveness. So if you use them together, for sure, you can neither be tamas nor be rajas. Anyway, we need minimum 2 attributes to understand the gunas, because there are 3 gunas. And if you use one bit, it can only cover 2 possibilities, 1 or 0. So we need minimum 2 bits to cover more possibilities, to cover the 3 gunas. We can have many more also to understand it more and more, but minimum 2 attributes we will anyway need to understand the gunas, because there are 3 gunas. And one more thing about these 2 words is that there is something common. See, when we say be aware of something, be aware of this book, be aware of what he is speaking, be aware of the sounds, be aware of the sensations, be aware of your thoughts. When we say be aware of something, okay, we understand easily, it's okay, I'm aware of it. But if it is said be aware, we will think the sentence is incomplete. Be aware of what? So we easily understand be aware of, but simply be aware is not understood easily, because awareness, although it is independent of objects which it illuminates, like how light is independent of the objects it illuminates, light exists even if there are no objects here, like that awareness exists independently, but for several reasons, awareness has gotten very strongly associated with the object that it is illuminating, and therefore we always can relate to awareness only if there is an object which is getting illuminated by it. The same thing is true with aliveness also. See, I have been using the word aliveness in some of the previous lectures, and some of the people asked, what do I mean by aliveness? What do you mean by intensity? Why? Because, see, for example, if I tell anger or fear or lust or jealousy or happiness or anxiety or pleasure or something, and then say intensity, easily understood. Meaning, if we speak of intensity or aliveness because of something, easily understood. But if it is just said, be alive, just come alive, just be intense, just as when we hear the sentence be aware, we think that there is something further to it and it has to be of something. Similarly, when we say be alive, so many things intellect brings up. Why? How? What for? Because of what? So many questions come. So awareness and aliveness have this in common. So presently, mainly we understand only two possibilities. Either I am unaware, I am not aware of anything, or when I come aware, it is because I am necessarily aware of something. Meaning the object of awareness becomes so important that I become ignorant of the source itself. I get lost in the object of awareness. Similarly, if you talk of the same thing in the language of aliveness, so either I am not alive, I am dull and sleepy and dead or whatever, or I am alive because there is something that is making me come alive through various ways, through fear or through anger or through various ways. So in those various ways there are differences, but the common thread is that it pumps up our aliveness. So when we come alive like that because of something, we get lost in that something. We become like puppets which are held up by strings. So some objects are controlling our aliveness. So spiritual pursuit is to move beyond these two possibilities, to be aware and not search for an object to become aware of, and not let the object of awareness overshadow awareness itself. And spiritual pursuit it is to be alive and not search for a reason to come alive, and not let any factor drive our aliveness.